In this video, you will learn how to say that, which, or who in Russian. Let's look at these English sentences. The student whom I saw at the cafe is my neighbor. Here is the book that I bought yesterday. Whom and that in these sentences are relative pronouns. They introduce a clause that modifies a noun. Russian has a relative pronoun too, the word который. And this is how these sentences will look in Russian. Студент, которого ты видела в кафе, мой сосед. Вот книга, которую я купил вчера. Now, let's look closer at the last example to see why the word который deserves your special attention. On the one hand, it looks just like an adjective. It declines like an adjective, and because it introduces a clause that modifies a noun, it responds to the adjectival questions какой, какая, какое, какие. In our example, the который clause answers the question какая книга. Like an adjective, it also agrees with the noun it modifies. So книга is feminine singular, and so is the relative pronoun in our sentence. However, this is where the resemblance to adjectives end. As you remember, adjectives agree with the noun they modify in gender, number, and case. In this sentence, книга is in the nominative case, but которую is in the accusative case. In other words, который agrees with the noun it modifies in gender and number, but not the case. To understand why this is happening, we need to recall that который is, after all, a pronoun. It connects two sentences that refer to the same noun by replacing one of these nouns in one of the sentences. In our example, it replaces the noun книгу. Книгу in this sentence is a direct object of the verb купил, and it is in the accusative case. Therefore, которую is also a direct object in the accusative case, because as it replaces the noun, it must also take on its grammatical function, its case. So to summarize, который is partially an adjective, it modifies a noun, and it agrees with the noun in gender and number, but not the case. Since it is a pronoun and it replaces a noun, it must take that noun's grammatical function within a sentence, so its case will be determined by the function it plays within its own clause. And another note. In English, you can often omit the relative pronoun and say the student you saw or the book I bought. Sometimes this is even preferable. This is never the case in Russian. You must use the word который, and you must use it in the correct form. And finally, let's look at some examples just to see how the case of который will be affected by the grammatical function it plays within its own clause. In the first group of sentences, we're modifying the noun студент, so который will be masculine and singular. In the first sentence, it will be the direct object of the verb видишь. Студент, которого ты видишь, мой друг. Который is in the accusative case. In the second sentence, we have the verb говорят, which governs the construction о ком, о чем. Студент, о котором все говорят, мой друг. The verb звонить in the next sentence governs the dative case. Студент, которому я звонил, мой друг. And in the last sentence, познакомиться governs the preposition с, which is used with the instrumental case. Студент, с которым ты познакомился, мой друг. In the next group of sentences, we're modifying the noun студентка, which is feminine and singular. So the form of который will be которая. Студентка, которую ты видишь, моя подруга. Студентка, о которой все говорят, моя подруга. Студентка, которой я звонил, моя подруга. Студентка, с которой ты познакомился, моя подруга. Это все.